Welcome to Ascension with V, where we talk about spiritual awakening, ascension, and everything in between. I'm your host, Stashia Jeanette, aka V, and today we have a special guest who's about to take us on a journey with their unique experiences and gifts. Anna, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what your spiritual awakening was like and how we got here.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited. And well, something about me, I'm a mom of one. I'm in my mid-30s living in Europe, Germany.
Yes,
And I was like, I don't have this classical awakening that there was this one moment. I would love to have that.
right.
Turned out otherwise. I had, as a kid, very many of these awakening moments, and they scared the hell out of me because I compared myself to the others who, like,
Yeah.
mostly didn't have those things going on, seeing those colors, having those feelings, like being able to. I'm very good at feeling what everyone else feels, which was
Yes.
totally overwhelming me. And so, for very long after discovering that, I shut it down because it was just too much. And I was a girl who tried to not feel anything. I was so shy. I was so introvert because the information streaming in was just too much to process for me. So it took me
Yeah.
quite a while to reawaken all of this. And since I've done it, was quite a journey. Every time it's really, really bumpy when things reawaken. I still feel I'm in the process. It's going on for 10 years, I think, and I'm still feel I'm showing into it. So you don't know what's coming out of it, but at the
Yes.
moment I'm working as a light language channel, as a spiritual coach. I'm really very much drawn to mindset work because I think it's fascinating how the subconscious work and how much we actually program our reality, but we don't even know it. And that was when I discovered that was another awakening moment when I thought, oh my God, what am I doing here? And how did I do that to myself? So that was really a big part of seeing myself and others do their stuff, be in their victim mode, be in their fear porn, I need to say,
Yeah.
just not knowing it and not seeing it. That was really, really a big thing for me. So I was really scared of taking on that journey because it felt so big and it felt so impossible when you
Yeah.
come from classical, you're not raised in great home and everything was really lovingly, but quite normal. And then there's these big visions, these big dreams, these talks to other entities, these there's everything so different. And
Right.
that was, yeah, such a journey for me. But I'm so glad I made it. And I'm so glad the struggles that came within the last 10, 15 years came, because now I can say how divinely orchestrated is everything.
Right.
Now I can really get that and embrace that, and every day a little more see okay, that's why that happened. And this is
Yeah.
untangling knots in
Yeah.
hindsight. And I love that. So
Yes.
that's essentially what got me on that path. And now I'm sharing this wisdom because what helped me most through this whole journey is this belief. My first mentor had this unwavering belief in the potential of people. And as I can see potential, I was like, oh my God, someone else sees that too. And they actually
Yes.
believe in it. How cool is that? So that was the
Yes.
coolest thing ever for me and the most healing and soothing experience. And that is what I started with, and wherever it's going, this is the basic foundation is I totally believe everyone is capable of doing anything. And here we're talking ascension. So people who say I'm not spiritual or what can I do? I totally don't believe that's true. I think we all hold really big power, and that's a passion of mine to empower people to awaken that part of them inside of them, that they see how much there is and how much we can do and inspire and awake within ourselves and others.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, and that's something also, well, like you have the ability to see kind of the highest version of others, within themselves. And that's also, I mean, that's me. I think that's why, again, prior to us having this actual conversation today, we resonated so much because I feel you like me,
Yeah.
we feel very resonant in that. And it's a really beautiful gift to have. And I love that you have now tapped into that for you to go forth and help people do that. But my biggest question for you, because I'm curious to see if it's anything like what
Mhm.
I've experienced as well. But what was it like for you to break through that barrier, break through that fear of sharing those gifts and having those feelings come to you? Like, how did you go from, okay, everything's shut down and I don't want to feel it? Like, no, it's too much, too much, right? Too much. How did you go from because it's a big, I don't think people realize, like, I had a client tell me the other day, she was like, I thought that this was just going to be like a switch. You just flip it on and then that was it. Even though I had been telling her, look, man, this is rough. Like, it's a journey and it's a process. And it's not like you just wake up one day and then it's like, we're into it. That would it'd be so great. It would be so great. But, I think there's this thing where people think that you just go from, okay, we're closed off and nothing's getting in, to now, like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. And that's not it. There's a transitional phase. There's a lot that you have to work through. So I want to know, what was that like for you?
Yeah. Wow. Big question. I would love that it was a switch. I
Right.
I sometimes thought there is this switching point, and there is like little switches for me. But what it was feeling like, and it's a long process, I would say like 20 years,
Yes.
like really long, but it's very uncomfortable. And I don't
Hmm.
say it to scare people off. It's just
No,
like,
but this is
like quite
this is the
honest.
truth.
It's
It's
like
the truth, right?
the truth. And like I heard some of my mentors talk today about like how we sometimes must be broken. And at first I was like, no. But what he
Yes.
meant is like this Rumi quote of like, the wound is where the light enters.
Yes.
Yes. It's like you need to somehow, like a little bird coming out of his egg, there is this moment of super
Cracking open.
uncomfortable. You've grown too big for your current box that you've put yourself in. And you need to like break that box, and that is so uncomfortable. And for me, that came lots of time that came with pain,
Mhm.
physical pain, lots of chronic stuff, really heavy stuff. I had anxiety, still sometimes have. And for the most time of my life, I just thought that that's just me. There is nothing to do about it. I kind of like accepted that in as a part of me, and then never did anything about it because I thought like this is just a baseline of what I
Right.
need to deal with, until I
Right.
realized at a certain point, okay, well, that's a message too. And this is like something to work on too. This is like where your ego or the opponent or however you want to call it is hiding behind and telling you like, stay where you are, stay put, don't evolve, don't grow.
Yes.
So now I can see like signs everywhere, but that took me so long. And like, to summarize it, I would say whenever it got really uncomfortable, could be like physical pain, could be a heartache, could be this moment where you just think like, oh my God, I'm so shy. I cannot go in front of this group of people and talk about X, Y, and Z, what you need to do in school or in business or whatever. These moments where we want to hide under
Yeah.
whatever we find. And these, I think, were the biggest awakening moments, because the moments I embraced them instead of trying to work myself around, which I was really good at. I was really good at making myself invisible.
Yes.
And did that for quite a long time. So I delayed a lot of the process by it. But the
Yeah.
moment where I wasn't able to hide, these were the growth moments. So after I had my son, for example, he's now going to school. So he's 7. Within the first year, I had several of these clicks because it was so challenging with a young kid and everything was new. And then there was these moments where everything zoomed out and I was standing there walking with him, like having a view, walking with him, and then it zoomed out and the whole matrix was like showing itself in geometrical shapes, and then it went away again, and it was like, where is it? Where is
Right.
like
It
the
was.
right moment? Where's it going? So that was
Yes.
uncomfortable, but though very soothing to have just had a glimpse. And that
Exactly.
took me like put very, very long until the reoccurrings like were closer together and it was like kind of going on in a more repeatable way. But
Right.
there was lots of challenges, lots of moments where there was confusion and overwhelmment. And I feel like now there's like the moment where there is fear, there is confusion. I embrace it because that's the moment there.
Yes, exactly. Do you feel like having your son open, like kind of like unlocked was like one of the Thanos rings? You know what I mean? Like one of the Infinity Stones. Like, do you feel
Yes,
like that was one of the?
you would love to like agree me on that. Yes, I think so. And I always say to my husband, like having a kid is the most beneficial thing to humanity you could do if
Yeah,
you take the challenge on because it's so and like a beautiful kid, like there's like no extra challenge, but it's just so rough doing everything right and not doing the power disbalance or the patriarchic structures or like the you need to follow me because I'm older thing, but
right.
also like not being the puppet of like a tiny little human.
The child,
It's really
right?
good at manifesting. Yeah, like where's the sweet spot in between? And that opened up so many doors because I think for like everyone who wants to take it on, children are such a beautiful mirror and like they're mentors. They're so
Yeah, yeah,
they're so strong. And I'm always there's all this energy coming from
yeah,
and it's really hard to keep up. So yeah, I would have stayed a lot more in my comfort zone.
yeah.
And I think I would have gotten to where I am right now, but much later. So this
Much
is like
later.
speeding up process if you wish. But oftentimes it felt close to breaking me until I
Mhm.
found out this perspective of saying like the universe isn't gonna break you. That was a big moment for me to say like, oh, okay, I'm only given as much as I can handle.
That you can handle.
Don't like settle with, okay, oh, I actually can handle this. I wasn't aware.
Yes, yeah. I didn't know.
But like someone needed to talk to me and tell me like you can handle it, you can handle it, you can handle it. And then
Yes,
okay. So yeah, but
yes.
it's definitely I think
But it
with everyone, it could be the same. Everyone could be that teacher for you. Just kids are more intense, and like you
no,
cannot
I feel
say, "Well, we
like
see each
100.
other too much."
Yes. I feel like 100% because I have another friend who had a child and she said the exact same thing. She was like, during my pregnancy and right after, she was like everything was heightened, everything changed, and and it's like the biggest teacher. It does. Kids will come along and be the fast track mentor, guide, teacher that you need for whatever lessons. I don't have kids of my own, but it's interesting seeing it, like I said, with my friends and with other people close, where I'm like, that kid's
You know,
doing the things, man.
your ego has to die so many times,
Yeah.
and I totally think you can do that with or without kids. It doesn't matter. You can do that.
Yes.
You could be presented any other person, coworker,
Correct. Yes.
partner, dad, mom, uncle,
Hmm.
whatever. Doesn't matter. But with the kids, it's like, this is like, okay, you stick to it because you cannot run that.
You can't.
Maybe you can, but
Well,
well,
you can, but like, you're right.
so that's an interesting one, I think. And maybe there is like this, I always strive for this moment of evolving without the pain, but because I enjoy the process and I want to grow. But before I was aware of that, I was evolving like most of people do to a certain point, like through pain. And like
Hmm.
having a child and being challenged with all the new stuff that you need to do, learn, be, that is kind of painful. This like,
Yeah.
you're not first. Now it's your life, but you're not first anymore. That feels kind of like shitty to the ego.
Right.
And there's a lot of like struggling involved, but you can grow into that version of yourself in different ways as well.
Right. Yeah. And that's something I'd love to like segue into is talking about like as you mentioned the mindset shifting and perspective shifting on that. How do you feel like the easiest way for people who like don't have a kid can kind of shift their perspective through the growing through the ego death through this whole process because again there's a whole lot especially now the whole age of Aquarius thing like there's a lot that's changing. And I mentioned it in a couple of my videos of it being going from, the old world system of like head to the new world system of heart.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a challenge for a lot of people in that shift that perspective is getting a lot of people. So what advice and guidance can you give on this topic of shifting these mindsets, the limiting beliefs and the perspectives to help people kind of more easily get into this new system?
Yeah. Wow. There's a lot of things to do. Like, I will share the one that have me like woken up the most, that I feel are the most like tangible ones, because oftentimes in spirituality is like just going to meditation and everything works out.
Right.
But well,
Right.
maybe at some point, but there are steps in between.
Correct.
The one thing that I love to do for myself and that I'm sharing with all of my clients is ask for it. Ask the universe what you need to become. Because like everyone has an area in their life that is like not working out the way they want.
Right.
It's not actually interesting which area it is, but this is like just for us to become aware of where there's some stuck energy. So let's say it's relationships or it's business, like two very classical things where
Right.
we're
Exactly.
like stuck and
Yeah.
there's tension, and you wanna manifest a partner, or you wanna manifest a bigger business, and it's not coming. So there is something that is not working out. The thing that would help me switch my mindset the most is hearing, what can I change? Because like this, oh my God, universe, give me blah, blah, blah. It's about getting, it's about getting, it's about getting. It's like kind of like we want to convince the universe that we need to have that so that we feel
Right.
better, instead of switching to saying like, who do I need to become to
Yes.
hold that? Because there is a reason, as we just spoke before, everything is divinely orchestrated. So if you don't have it, there's a reason for it. And the reason is within you, because God, universe, creator is
Mhm.
endless. So
Right.
there's no shortage on that side.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
it's
Yes.
here is something that is stuck. So what is actually the thing that I need to transform? Who do I need to become? And if you ask yourself these questions with the intention of receiving an answer, no matter how deep you are into any spiritual practice, you will get your insights
Right.
in whatever form you have. But it's like the shift here is going away from how can I get it to what do I need to become? What do
Yes.
I need to transform? And that is for me like the easiest way to shift the mindset, because it's a twofold process. Like everything is like very dualistic in this universe. You need to change that the light, the message can enter your vessel, but you need to like be able to hold it. And if you aren't, then you haven't received it yet because you're not able to hold it. And that is the thing that like I think is most tangible. And you can do that in any meditation, journaling. I love doing manifestation walks and just going outside and asking the creator, what do I need to do to, I don't know, attract that new client that I wish to manifest, whatever it is, but what is my part in there? And then you get the insights. And from there, what you essentially see is this universal law of everything creates from within, because the
Right.
answer is within, or you draw it into you, whatever you want to explain it with,
Yes.
but you have it within yourself and then you act it out. It's not something that comes to you
Comes
that
to
you need
you.
to get, you know,
Yes.
get my stuff.
Yes.
It's something that needs to come from within, and then you can manifest out. And that is like, if you see everything through that lens, things shift so differently that, yeah, we need to reprogram our subconscious and let go of those limiting beliefs. But that shifts like, I think, the majority of things.
Yeah. Going from there's this card that they're showing to me is called From My Will to Thy Will.
Mhm.
And like it said, not micromanaging the universe.
Yeah, you cannot, but we try.
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, again, like I don't control it, but that was something that was shown to me, was given to me as you were speaking, and I was like, I need to say this.
It resonates so much. Just like micromanaging time management. You cannot manage time. You
You
can.
can't.
We try to micromanage every little detail in our days. And I sometimes
Can't.
visualize the universe looking at us and lovingly saying, like, well,
Right. Like, what
no way.
the hell are y'all doing? What is this? What is this? Time is a construct. I say this so frequently. I'm like, it's not real. It's literally, I'm like, only on Earth. I feel like everywhere else looks at, like you just said, like looks at Earth, like, what are the humans doing? Why
There's
are
nothing about so much.
right? Why are they talking about time? What is time? Why are they talking about time? What is this? Why are they freaking out?
I think it must be such a strange concept to look at it from a timeless culture to looking at why isn't everything there immediately? Why are they stressing so much about
Why, like,
what intentional thing are they stressing about? So
right?
it's so big in our culture. It's like it's the thing. Like there's always this saying like time is more valuable than money because you
Then
cannot get your time back, and that creates such a lag and such a like scarcity mindset that I'm always thinking like, oh my god, do we have something else to fear now? It's like that there's always this like about the time. And yeah, it's so important to talk about this. I think it's a topic that is so
it is.
often misunderstood and not
Yes,
talked about it enough because it's so big in everyone's life.
right. But beyond that, like this, what we're talking about right now is like, it's too woo, it's too out there for like most people. And look, it is what it is, but this is a real thing. This whole man-made construct of like, if you're not worrying about money, you're worrying about your time. If you're not worrying about your time, you're trying to control something. If you're not trying to control something, you're trying. It's too much. It's the need of going from the human doing to human being,
Yeah.
like just
Is it
be.
just a distraction? Sometimes I feel like this kind of conflict is just a big distraction of what it's really about. And people have fallen for it for quite some time.
Well, they got us good here. They did. They did a number on us here at this planet. Like, it's bad. Like, we all have a lot of deconditioning and a lot of unprogramming and a lot of, rewiring, breaking out of old limiting beliefs that I think is now the time to get out of, and start putting. Also, there's the thing of like, when you start from kind of like what you said just a little while ago of, okay, so we're shifting the mindset. Okay, we've shifted the mindset. When we start shifting mindset and releasing things, now there's this kind of void, but putting the good stuff back in, putting in new things, yeah, a new mindset, rewiring with new things. It's a process. But what is releasing limiting beliefs like for you? What are some things, some examples that you can give on releasing limiting beliefs?
I think when we what we just talked about, when we get conscious of these blocks that we have, of the things that are not going right, these
Mhm.
are like the hints for the limiting beliefs that we have. So what I always make people do is just write a list on everything that they think they cannot do in this area, just like doing
Yes.
very practical, conscious mind stuff to
Yeah.
get it out on paper. Because sometimes I think we are just not aware of these, even though they're conscious. They're like, with all the other stuff that is happening in our daily lives, they're just not present. So writing out that list, which quite is normally like really long,
Yeah.
I can make money. I can like ask for that pay raise. I can talk to my spouse about X, Y, and Z. I can move into that bigger house because I can make more money, whatever. There's so much limiting beliefs that we just accept it as reality. And I want to first have people become aware about what do you actually accept as a reality and what you maybe have already identified as a limiting belief, and then like shifting a bit around and seeing like who of those, the most of those, don't actually have to be that way because they are people who have it different, who you could like use as a role model for seeing like this limiting belief is not reality, it's your reality. Well, whatever reality is, but that's another topic. But for a person to see like, oh, okay, maybe there is a way of not having this in my life. Maybe I can let go of this. That
Yeah.
is like first big step because we live in autopilot so much that we just are not even aware what we can actually change. And so when we have identified that, then this is a long list normally. So we need to like kind of put our focus on the most pressing issues at first And from there, I love the process of like just reversing this limiting belief to something that is positive, to have an affirmation that we can tap on, that we can like repeat to see what limiting beliefs are coming up. Because normally, like if you have this affirmation that says like, I'm in a loving relationship and it's beautiful, and you say that 100 times, but you are not actually like physically in that relationship, right?
Physically, right?
It's just at that moment, your affirmation. And that little like opponent on your shoulder goes, no, you're not. You're
Oh, yeah.
surface these limiting beliefs that are kind of underneath. So
Right.
it's a detective game of
Yeah. Yeah.
seeing is without judgment. That is what I mean with lovingly thing,
That.
because there is this like, oh, I found this, I need to like get rid of it as fast as possible. And I don't think that's beneficial,
Yeah.
because whatever happened, going back to divine orchestration again, happens for a reason. So you are in that place for a reason.
For a reason.
Or like your fault, you didn't do anything wrong. You needed to learn something. But what
Right.
did you learn? Or what could you have learned before? To realize that we can't get rid of that limiting belief as fast as possible, because we need to look at it first. And this like
Yes.
taking it in and like seeing, okay, what is this like relationship? Why am I
Yes.
not in that relationship? What comes up? And then like giving it some gratitude, giving it some love, like it's a little child that just wanted to protect us. And then saying, well, thank you. I no longer need you. We can like part here and cut cords through a meditation or a clearing or whatever. But having the like gratitude first, because this universe is not about exclusion. It's about like coming things together. It's oneness. So we cannot anything away. So yeah, I think that limiting belief work is much more powerful if we like don't try to push away, because it comes back regardless. And so
It does, though. It really does. It really does. And I'm in the process of finishing up, getting ready to publish my book. And while writing this, I said this exact same thing, that literally, if you don't sit and process things that you've gone through, traumas, heartbreaks, whatever the case may be, especially like soberly, this is the part that really like F's people frequently, because they went through something terrible, and so they're like, oh, I'm gonna drink it down with like I'm gonna get 10 bottles of vodka tonight, and then wash it down with some pills, and then this, that, and the third, and go on this like bender whenever they have a death or they have a breakup or something happens to them, and then they just once they get past it, they just think, oh, it's over. Like, no, it comes, that same situation will keep occurring because you didn't process it.
It's your evolve and repeat. I love that. I love that phrase that you have, that statement that is like so on point with what you
Yes.
just said. It's like, okay, look at it. It's coming back anyway. So just look at it.
Yeah.
But it
Literally.
there is who of us has really learned to process their emotions, to sit with their emotions, to not
Yeah.
in fear of their emotions. And I'm saying that from a place because I myself like have tried to outrun them for so long,
Same.
because I didn't know how to process. I thought it was too much. And
Yeah.
what it comes back.
It does. It does. It comes back like louder, and then like what started off as like a little tap on the window, like tap tap tap, hey, I'm here. Goes to like 2-finger tap 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 tap, I'm here, to like the knock, to like the FBI bang.
And then you're on.
Literally every time, the longer that you try to evade doing the just sit with it soberly as long as you need to and deal with the things, it's going to come back. Just deal with it. Literally.
Yeah. There is this like procrastination and fear thing. It's like, I feel it's like almost a limiting belief on top of all the like individual stuff we have. We have the procrastination, fear, limiting belief on top of it. And so it's not easy to work on the source stuff when there's like the protection layer. So it's maybe that is why it's taking so long sometimes, because we need to peel through the upper layers before we get to that point to see like, okay, well, I am able to process that fear and actually like it's not even taking that long. For me, when I
Right.
realized that a fear or like any emotion, if you really sit with it, only lasts for about 90 seconds, I'm like, okay, well, and I can do 90 seconds
That's
if you
that's
practice.
true.
Like really sit with it
Right.
and feel it fully and say like, embrace it, give me more, I can handle it. It goes
Right.
away so quickly.
Right.
And why have I outrun that for so long? Why have I tried to like make that go away? It's not that bad actually.
Yeah.
And that is
Yeah.
like such a feeling of relief, you know?
It is though. What was the most difficult feeling that you had to sit with, like, recently? Like, if you had to choose one of the emotions that was the most difficult for you, which one was yours that was the most difficult?
There was like, there was a feeling of really hard to describe. It had to do with rejection and unworthiness.
Yeah.
It was so hard for me. And I was like already coaching people for quite some times. And I was sitting with this thing that like I'm gradually being better at. It's about like how I communicate with my family about my passions and what I see.
Yeah.
And like they are always the last to know because they are the hardest for me,
Exactly.
which is quite a contradiction, but it is like it is. And then I was sitting with it and I was really beating myself up saying like this couldn't be possible that for anyone else I can support them, but for myself there is still this like big karmic
Mhm.
knot in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did my past life stuff and yeah, I know why, but why can't I just overcome it? And there was like this deep despair of like feeling so insecure within myself.
Yeah.
So that was
Yes.
so uncomfortable. And there was this moment where I thought like, I cannot get out of this. Like this death of the ego saying like,
Rough.
yeah, really, really rough, really rough. Yeah.
Rough.
That was the most recent, most deep thing that I'm still recovering from in a way, because
Yeah.
there's layers to it. And there's
It
like
is. No, it is.
deep, deep, deep past life,
Yes.
horrible stuff that came up with this. And that
Mhm.
actually explained to me logically why I wasn't able to speak up to like,
Yes.
the witch wound is so deep,
Yes.
but still it's this life. And there are like these people that I love that I want to communicate with, you know, needing to
Just
like,
pushing through.
yeah, pushing through, going to the present. And
Yes.
really was the most challenging one. Everything else was like kind of more, you know, easily digestible. And this
Right.
was really like a big terror barrier. One of my mentors,
Yeah, where it's like,
this terror barrier
yes.
you can never go through. But
Yeah,
actually,
like,
yeah, it's like this feeling of no.
yes. Yes. That's how I asked because, again, like I said, I see people, like, at their very core, and again, like, it's been one of those things where I've had to accept that people will either cling to me or run from me from because of this. They can just feel it. But, like, I can always see, like, people in their full essence, wounds and all the things. But I asked because I felt and saw, like, a similar thing with you of what I recently had to do. And again, because of past life things, like, I vividly remember being burned at the stake for yeah, so, like, that's why I said, I was like, "She has it too."
Oh, and it's
Yeah,
so horrible, isn't it? It's like this. I don't
it's
know how,
bad.
but it's
It's bad. Like, mine was from, again, from speaking out about what I am and what I can do and my gifts and abilities, not so much, like, sharing it with my family publicly because obviously, like, you see me on social media, like, I'm, like, I'm out there. So, like, it going from, being this, like, wearing the mask of, like, "Oh, I'm just here, nothing to see here."
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Right. Nothing to see here, to being like, here I am, and also, and I got this and I'm doing this and this and this, openly about it. Like, I'd be lying if I said even now that, like, it's not a struggle for me to share what it is that I'm doing, like, on a grand scale, like, I struggle to say, like, I'm finishing a book because, again, like, my book is what got me burned. Literally,
Yeah.
my book got burned with me. So, like,
I'm having chills when you say that. Yeah. Wow.
no, like, so, like, me, I'm, like, teary-eyed about it, like, it's a real thing, though, and it's just having to, like, "No, we're doing this," push through it, but it's rough, rough.
there is so much courage, and I think we have that. It's just like sometimes buried deep down because all of these like these horrible experiences of like not only being punished, but like really being murdered for what you did.
Literally.
And then, okay, you
Literally.
need to come back and do it again. And this is like the courage that the soul
Yeah.
has to come back and say, like, I'm going to do it again. I'm not finished here. I will
Right.
publish that book.
Yeah.
It's taking so much courage. And what I love about this is that it tells us, even in a glimpse, I think there's so much more, but it tells us how much strength the soul
Right.
has. Like, it's so deep.
It
And
is.
we think like, we cannot go to that meeting, but I got what strength do we have to go through that horrible stuff and still
Right.
do it and not hide
Yes.
it. Maybe it has taken us a few lives. Yeah, could be. But
Yes.
still, there is like this access to the higher power that gives you or lets you remember this strength, and then we can go on with what we came here for initially.
Right.
Maybe that is a perspective shift we started talking about, or we mentioned to talk about.
Yes. Yes.
Because actually, like, there are so many people, or anyone has this in their own way, but there are so many people having like coming to me at the moment, maybe confirmation bias with the witch wound. We're saying, oh my God, that's much bigger than I ever was able to grasp before. How many
Yeah.
people have these deep wounds, and it's not just a little anxiety, like it's a deep wound
Nah, like this is
transformed for a reason.
right.
Wow. Now
Yeah.
people are ready to hear what you wrote, Now is the time
Yeah.
where you're not so far ahead of time that people just don't get it. Now is the time where you really can publish it and people read it and people get it. How amazing is that?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, nah. But
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. You need to like kind of make it more tangible.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard. I think it's really hard to go on with that, and I understand everyone who doesn't feel capable at that moment. I still think we are, like we talked about the potential. There is no limit in the potential, but
Right.
I feel like they're not capable of pushing through that wound because it is
Right.
so hurtful.
Yeah.
But even look at it again,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely been like a thing. Again, you know it. You've already said it. You're like, it's still, like I'm still working on it. It's a thing. Literally every day I just get up and I'm like, it's fine, we're doing this, it's fine, we're doing this. But, it's shifting the mentality, it's shifting the energy, it's doing a lot of shadow work, inner child work, it's doing a lot of energy work. I think you do you do energy work, and I'd love for you to talk about what energy work is for you and what all that entails, but it's a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's so many modalities that we can use, and depending on like what our soul is here for, that might like feel interesting or not interesting. But for me, like energy work was always the key, because I love to go to the source of things. And
Yes.
because everything is energy, that was like the only most logical step
Yes.
I could take
Yeah.
with my logic based brain for the first 20 years of my life. And then, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yes.
Oh, the energy work is particularly interesting though, because it outruns logic. And
Mhm.
I think that's what is needed. You said it before, and I so agree, is like this shift from the mind, the conscious mind, to the heart, like this, like,
Yes.
putting everything upside down and going into the heart. And the energy work, as well as the light language, which just is a part of it, is directly connecting to the soul. It's going like through the conscious layers, and you might not understand it. It's only about being open, and the rest is taking care of itself because the energy is intelligent. So
Right.
the work that I do is like, maybe if you're familiar with Reiki, you have like an idea of how it is, but it's like a healing work of working with the chakras, of working like of calming down the meridians to just like go into that state of, okay, it's safe to do that. Like you said, you need to like push through, even though you've done so much of that work. And like, I love telling my body like, okay, it's safe. You're posting something, it's like, well, you're writing an Instagram post, nothing big, but yeah, it is.
Right. But
I want to tell it like, I'm telling my body, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe.
okay. Yeah.
just with this, there is so much of a shift in knowing these little things. So what I love doing is breaking that down into exercises that are like easy, comprehensible, that are not that complicated. Like you don't need to know like 20 different acupressure points to do something.
Right.
You know, I love that, but some people just want to have the end result point,
Right.
and you can make it into a digestible version that is working as well. That is maybe like not 100% of what you can, but for starting, going into the work and seeing what it does, seeing what tapping can do, seeing what like light language communication can do, it is sufficient. It's like enough to say like, okay, let's start here. Let's calm the body. Let's tell it it's safe. Let's like kind of reawaken this wanting, this like inner desire to care for ourselves, for our physical bodies, being sober, not eating shitty food, not
Man.
drinking, not whatever. And like just going back to this love to be more in harmony with the universe. We can do that with little energy exercises. And so that's what I teach and what I like do healings with, but I also love to teaching people to empower them to do it themselves. So that it's not just this thing that I go to, but is you need to do it. In the morning when you wake up,
Yes,
you need to like have your exercises to get out of bed and say like, I can manage this.
I got this.
I got this.
Right.
It doesn't require much once you know, like everything else. I always tell people, like everything is so easy if you know it, right? And yeah, it's so easy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like overwhelming. Like it's information overload, and then you start getting into like analysis paralysis. And you're like, I'm not doing anything. It's too much. But it's not, when you, like you said, giving it into easily digestible things.
Really bits and pieces. And
Yeah.
I love that because it's something that's free, that's everyone, that you really can do everywhere. And there is no layers, there's no power dynamics in it. I love that. I think that's what we're creating with the shift that we're going through, is that everything is like for everyone.
Everyone.
Needs
Right.
to be usable for anyone, regardless of their fitness, of their finances, of their whatever. It just needs to be there for every human. So
Right.
that we can like be the best version and enter that like cycle of embodying who we really want to become, or become more conscious. And
Right.
yeah, so that's what I love doing. And the bypassing of the logic is a big thing in there.
What sign are you? I forgot to ask you.
I'm a Virgo, Leo rising.
I was like, why is she so familiar? I'm a Virgo sun.
That makes so much
Yeah,
sense.
I was like, mm-hmm. I'm like, mm-hmm. Okay, and this was called the light language.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So a lot of what I have been doing, and I guess these are things that I just never knew the title to, or like what they were called. But I've always just done a lot of stuff with just the chakras, or seeing, like the colors of each chakra, and a lot of visualization work with it. But also someone has also given me the same thing of like, it seems like a lot that you're telling me, and you're giving me all these points and things that like you need, and it's not. It's just small bite-sized things that you just need to, let's focus on one of the chakras first and break it down there. But your method with the light language thing that's something that everyone needs to know. Everyone needs those tools to be equipped with, and I love that you have given us that information for it.
Yeah. Like the light language, I feel it repels a lot of people because you cannot understand it. It's like
Yeah.
these. I not only like use the sounds, but there's also like a lot of talking with the hands, and I see other cultures on other planets do a lot. Like this really triggers so many people. So I think it's necessary. But when you just said like everyone needs to hear it, I was like, there is this like old wound coming up of, okay, that could be dangerous. But it actually is necessary, But it's
funny because literally the freak out thing. Oh no.
Yeah, well, it's in there. But it's regardlessly, it's so important to like come back to ourselves. And even though people don't understand what I say with this language, there is the feeling, if you're open to, you receive the energy regardless. Like in
Yeah.
acupuncture and acupuncture, you also don't know what the person does, or like puts needles in. That you're like, but you think it works, so it works. And that's the
Right.
same thing with every other energy work, with, like you said, seeing chakras,
Mhm.
like working with them. The person doesn't have to understand. Of course, it's nice, but it works regardlessly because it works on a soul level. And I think that's, for me, that feels almost like an advanced technology that we just
Yeah.
about. It's not, it's like totally woo to talk about it, but actually it's not. It's just science we have no idea about.
Right.
We are yet to understand.
Yeah. But that's something I also feel like I need to tell you in case you don't already know. I'm sure you do, probably if not at a conscious level, but at a subconscious level, that like not everybody gets that gift of understanding of it. Also, like you're chosen for that. Like that's like you were handed down that gift, that ability to speak that light language. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got the Lumorian codes, of that, and I think that's just why they really want you to share it,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm so you were given it to be shared.
Yeah. Yes. For that, I would totally agree. Some part of me says like everyone has it, but again, that's the potential speaking, and it's for me to differentiate.
Yeah,
I was like, I think every soul has this ability to do it. The question is like, are they listening to it? Are they like unearthing it?
right.
And maybe they choose not to, and it's okay. So everyone who's repelled by like this woo-woo stuff, it's totally fine. They're not there yet. But whatever you have planted a seed, I feel that's the
Correct.
that you take as well. Is like I do it for everyone who wants to have to listen, to see, to hear. And for well, it's not for them and it's okay. But that doesn't mean that there is anything wrong with my method or with my
No.
of doing.
Right.
And that's
Right.
a big thing, I think, in the society where we have everything proven. And if you haven't studied anything, then you are not wise in that area.
Man.
You cannot study that kind of stuff that we're discussing. It's still valid. And that's a big perspective shift that I'm still working on, even after all these years and even after all these clients. There's still this like, do I actually know what I'm talking about? There's no proven.
Literally, that's me.
No professor actually gave us like
This
in it.
stamp of approval.
It's really horrible sometimes, but it's part of the process, so there must be a greater
Yes.
event.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, but it can't be a coincidence that you literally said the exact same. This is not a coincidence because for real, I say that so frequently, especially with me like just starting up. Like I say just starting up, but like being official with my business and guiding people and on all the things, I'm like, am I? Because I don't, like I didn't, and like there wasn't a physical person who gave me this, stamp of
Yeah.
like here you go, and then I hate, like I don't want to like I feel like I'm gonna be stepping on toes here, but I just feel like I can't beat around the bush with it. It is what it is. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, and so I went to the hills and then the person cloaked me with the smoke and then gave me and indicted me as a top tier level 19 wizard. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not it. I'm not trying to, like, I'm really not like trying to be over here shitting on people. That's not, but what I'm saying is like we got this just from source.
And like
And it,
the people
go
you're
ahead.
talking about, like who had this, like, okay, this was given to me in, do you know human design?
Yes.
Yeah, the founder Raoult said like he was in that hut, and for 7 days there was these downloads, and wow, okay, that was like so tangible. That was this moment where it hit the awakening,
Right.
you know. And
Right.
I think it's normalizing. That's how I explain it to myself. These things are normalizing. Maybe like a few thousand of years ago, there were these few sages who had that, and now it's
Right.
more and more light workers, and so it's getting more casual, and it happens in everyday lives. And
Right.
we are able to live on with our lives while having these downloads, while being, handed over that thing,
The stamp of approval.
physically. and still carry on with our lives, doing our business, like raising our child, like moving from there to there, whatever we do, and
Yeah.
do it simultaneously. And I feel like before there was like this, you either could be that person who had that big, download
Right.
in the woods, and then you are
Right.
with that person, but you're only that. And now,
Right.
now things are like, it's the oneness thing. It's everything is merging together, but the like maybe downside or like the doubt that is coming up is like, there wasn't a big initiation process. There wasn't a big guru who told me like, now you're ready to, but
Right.
all on us
Exactly.
to say like, okay, now I'm ready. And how often have I questioned my purpose, or how often have I like updated my vision because I just wasn't sure if that was too big or if I was just looking in that direction instead of in that direction.
Correct. Correct.
And it's so hard to like make that tangible, but it doesn't
Right.
mean it's any less valuable for people. I'm
Right.
saying to myself as well,
Same.
That's like,
Same. Like, I am worthy, damn it. Yeah.
yes, and people like, actually, it's enough to share what we know. That's what I'm
Yeah.
experiencing all the time. It's, you don't have to be like 50, 100 steps ahead. It's okay. You're a few steps ahead and you have this like unwavering faith and presence for people. That is
Right.
so much more than enough. That's just
Yeah.
the right way of doing it. And there's nothing you need to like add on top of it if you don't like
Right.
to.
Right.
But like, that's far out of any concept of certification that we are
Or
used.
it's literally that. And not only that, I spoke about this with somebody recently where like I cringe at every time I see something that's like certification, like get like certification this, certificate. And I'm like, you just, I'm like, cause God source universe is not coming down here being like, let me sign this thing for you.
Certified by God. Like how much
That
can it get,
that yeah, I'm certified by the most high, by the big boss. That's who I'm certified by. Yes,
But I won't say that from now on.
you need to.
I'm curious. Did you like refuse to do certifications then? Yeah, me too. Yeah. It's just another thing. Everything that has a certification on it, I feel like, okay, I don't need it. Literally, like human design is actually the first thing that I'm studying right now that comes with certification. I'm still not sure if I take the test because it's not mattering to me. It
Yeah,
counts.
right. Same.
It's so interesting for me that I thought like, okay, well, I want to learn that from that person. I really
Yeah.
deeply relate, so I do it, even though there's a certification thing at the end. But normally that was like, for me, that was like the red flag saying like, well,
Same. Same. And I also like got this download earlier today about it being like there is a timeline in the future where a lot of people are currently right now. I'll just go ahead and put it out there because like it's happening. We're already essentially at 2025 anyways, but I was going to say like 2025, January and February 2025 is like essentially the roundup of a lot of the false leaders and the false prophets and the false masters and the false gurus and the false this, that, and the third insert title thing here, from again, like both organized religion and the spiritual communities of things. And a lot of them came with like, they're like, oh, you can trust me because I'm certified. And I'm like,
that NLP course that you can get for $7 and then you're certified in NLP. Well, okay, not about
yeah,
the money. It's not about the money, but like,
no,
it doesn't mean anything. And I think that's the
right,
important thing. And I love what you
right,
just said. I believe that too. There will be like this dismantling of false power dynamics in like every area.
yes,
And good thing about it is like, well, that will be quite uncomfortable to lots
right,
of people. But the good thing about it is that afterwards, people can like really shift their mindset and see like, okay, it's not the certification we trust. It's not the title. Just
right,
because there's a doctor in front of, or just because that's a person that has like a big business that they're CEO, that doesn't mean
correct,
that they are competent
trustworthy,
or
legit,
trustworthy. Yeah, or leading from the heart. It just doesn't mean anything anymore. So next step, who are we looking at? Who are we trusting? And then
exactly.
like trust from the heart instead of from the brain, which I think is like so necessary.
It
And
is.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah. But it's like, unfortunately, like the proverbial towers have to fall, like before the, like you said, like the dismantling has to occur. It is like, like I said, from now until like February, it's a lot that's happening globally, mainly in America, but globally, where it's everything though is being kind of unearthed, dismantled to show, like, it's so funny. They're like, is this your king? They're just showing me kind of like the Colosseum and all a whole bunch of the false leaders and prophets and gurus and things, like in the middle of this Colosseum, like getting ready for the proverbial slaughter, right? And it's like, is this your king? And
Wow.
this is who you put up on the this is who you in there, like Scooby Doo taking off the mask. It's this, but that's what's taking place. But that's, I think, entirely why all of my being has repelled everything that had like certified. You need to get the certification. Even with school, like I dropped out of college because of health stuff, but like even still, I was like, why do you need to pay money to prove what you know? I don't understand this,
Yeah.
and in everything about school, everything about anything that had like a diploma or something or certification on it, like my entire soul rebelled it. And it's because of being able to see into the future timelines. And it's bad.
Yes, and also like I would love to know, because that's why I stopped initially, was this, like I felt so discouraged,
Mm-hmm.
made small by school,
By school.
just couldn't handle it. I was going to fashion school
Yeah.
because for some would thought I could transform like fashion business to be not that superficial.
Right.
Which,
We try.
well, it was nice. I learned a lot,
Right.
but I learned the most important thing was that school is for me the most destroying thing I can do
It
to my.
is. Literally.
And I had to unlearn all the stuff that you need to do, how, like, for the example of doing how you need to sew that stuff together. And I was like, why? Is this the only way? And why is everything else wrong? That couldn't be. And then
Right.
looking back to like classical school education, even from first grade on, that is nonsense. Most of that is just putting you in the box of the old parenting, wanting to keep you small and
Duh.
keep you, like easily manipulable. I don't know, even know the English word, easy to manipulate.
Manipulate.
That is just so bad that everything in my body repels this system so much. I
Yes.
think there could be good schools,
Yes.
beautiful. Just the way it's set up is horrible, because it like looks at how did you do something wrong and you didn't only right way. How can that be like
Correct.
thing? That's like the
Correct.
horror thing for me when you look at
Yeah.
school. But from what you say, of course, like the potential of what could happen with all these people who are certified, and what is happening is as repelling is the system. So nothing to engage in.
No, it's bad. I actually just had a dream about that 2 nights ago, literally, where I was on this, like, observing this field trip, and I was watching these kids in single file line, and I kept saying in my head, like, all these poor kids, and I was watching them kind of like skip along the sidewalk, and they were getting reprimanded because the one kid that was skipping was like out of the single file line, and the teacher was like, get back in line, blah blah blah. And I was like, these kids, they're going into this school, and every ounce of what makes them unique and special and bright and glowing and all their personality is about to just get stripped from them. And they're going to become these minions, these zombies to a dying system, and like, I remember, like, I felt visibly angry and sick while I was watching this. And I remember I went over to one of the teachers and was like, smack, don't talk to that kid like that. Let these kids be great. Let these kids be kids, and who cares if they're not in single file line? Like, they're outside, let them skip. They're outside. What does it matter? What is this? But it's this, because that's what happened to us. That's what happened, and like you said, it was just a whole thing of, if you're not doing it this one way, it's wrong.
Well, you are broken. If you are going to school, you're gonna be broken, so that
Right.
you can then like follow these
That-
rules that someone made up. But you
correct.
need to be broken first. so that you don't follow regardless, that it
Right.
becomes a habit. And I think like that is so horrible. It's still happening, and people are like, oh, now you can go to school. And I think, well,
No.
no, it's so hard because it could be so different. There's this vision of like schools who only are outside and they're like just doing meditation and like dancing and movement and whatever the kids want. How
Right.
cool would that be? Like, that kind of a school.
Yeah.
The school that I went to,
Nah. Nah.
they are like gray areas already existing. But for the most part, it's just like it's fighting in there. And
It's bad.
it's like breaking my heart because they were so little when they go there. What comes out is like these minions, like I say, that
Yeah.
do everything someone tells them,
Yeah.
which is definitely not our purpose here.
No. No. Like I saw on Halloween, the kids, I was handing out Halloween candy, and I saw these parents, and these kids had to be maybe 6 or 7, maybe 6 or 7, and they had dressed their kid up in a particular political party's outfit. I would just leave it there. A particular political party's outfit. I mean, from head to toe, and then wrap them in an American flag. The kid was maybe 6 or 7. Like, where are you learning this? Do you know what I mean? And I was like,
Can we transition to being humans and not being like of a certain country? Because it's so boring to like say, yeah, I'm from, and that's all that is. Like, this country is the most important in the world. What is it?
right.
Regardless of the country, it's just so not of interest.
Yeah, I was like, man, if you don't let this kid be a kid, I was like, he wanted to be a Power Ranger or Pikachu for Halloween, and you chose, good and well, he wanted to be Pikachu, he wanted to be SpongeBob, and you got him over here. Literally, he was 5 or 6 years old, and like he knows nothing about anything about whatever is going on in the world.
To no one, actually,
Yes, I'm like, he wanted to be.
I mean, in beliefs that,
Yes.
let's say maybe they're more on the limiting side,
Yeah.
like how could be an open viewed person.
Yeah,
Till they break out of that matrix.
exactly.
There's just a so narrow point of view from an
Yes.
early level on. Wow.
Yeah, and
Oh my God.
I feel like I could sit here and like talk to you about all the rabbit holes of everything going on in planet Earth right now forever. But this has been amazing. I'm sure
it's too long for one podcast episode.
Right. You have to come back. You have to I have to send you my calendar, whatever you have availability for the next time. You definitely have to come back, and we have to go with round 2.
I love that.
Yes.
Oh, I think it was so joyful.
Yes.
Thank you. What a pleasure.
Thank you. Also, look at our yin yang outfit happening.
Yeah, you're right.
Did you notice that? Hold on a second.
But yeah, like now that you say it, we did that very well.
But real quick though, literally. Also, both Virgos.
Yeah,
black and white, yin and yang. What's happening here? Come on now.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, good. It must have been like that we rescheduled. It's like it was the perfect.
Had to be.
So good.
Had to be.
Yeah.
Okay, Anna, thank you so much. Before we go, is there anything that you want to share? What do you have going on? What are you promoting? What are you working on? What do you want to put out there? Where can people find you in your socials? All the things.
Okay. Well, yeah, actually, for the socials, it's Instagram most times. Let's change our mind. Maybe you'll link it in the show notes. I don't know. And I'm working on something that I touched on before earlier right now because it's so dear to my heart. So I'm doing like a library of all the tools that I wish I would have had on these like very long journey that I'm on. Within there are all the like energy work, all the stress relief, all the mindset shift, everything that I would have loved to had as like something tangible to do when things felt hard, felt challenged, when I wanted to like have something to work on to overcome is in there in the form of something that you can search, where you can go through a certain phase or a certain like cycle of change to like initiate change, as well as like get through it when you're in the woods and you feel like just shitty and don't know what to do. These are the exercises to go to. So that's what I'm working. well, tools of transformation. And yeah, I feel called to share that within December. So I'm launching very soon, and I'm really excited about that because it's the first time I'm doing group coaching, and not only one-on-one. And I love the one-on-ones, but this feels like so good to have as an additional resource that I'm super excited about it right now.
Yes, it is exciting.
Yeah.
So you'll have it. Do you have a website or is everything through Instagram?
No, I have a website too, which everything is on. So
Okay.
it's let'schangeourmind.com. But for reaching out, Instagram is like the most easy way. But everything else is on the website as well, the program and everything else I'm doing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I will have it all linked in the description on YouTube and on Instagram and also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Wow. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being here. And again, we'll stay in touch and get you on for another episode.
We do. Have a good time, my
Awesome.
dear. It was lovely.
Thank you.